Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How y'all doing today? This right here, this is Bison. He's one of the calves. I'll be one of the yearlings. I'm pretty sure he's about a year old now, but an early yearling. He'll be going to market here this weekend. He looks pretty good. He got a good bit of heft on him. He looks pretty wide. He's pretty large. His frame is grown. I was taking a look at my numbers yesterday to see how much money I owe the bank, and to just take a look at, well, that's the big thing, right, is to see how much money I owe the bank. And so right now, when so the tax benefit money that I got, I used that tax money to pay for the feed, and then everything else that was left over, I paid off my debt with it. And then the escrow refund check is the money that I used to purchase the little black Angus heifers. And so as of right now, I need to make roughly $500 an animal to break even. I forgot the exact number, but I got 32 animals right now, and I got about 16,000 in debt. So I need to make about $500 an animal to break even. And so on an animal like this, you know, this is what I would consider an animal that's ready for the market. And he probably weighs about 7.5, about 750 pounds. And so I need to make about well, my cost of gains have steadily hovered around 60 cents a pound up until the last 3 weeks. So I've had these animals on grain for about 3 weeks now, but up until 3 weeks ago, I've had these animals on grass. And so, you know, my cost of gains were were very low. I mean, my cost of gains were just very low. And so, you know, I need to make, and then I also got my taxes filed, and I also got my LLC set up, so I got my tax benefit money from this farm too. And so that was a huge help in terms of putting extra money, generating income for this farm was my tax benefit money. And I just used my tax benefit money to pay off my debt. And so now at this point in time, I only owe $500 an animal, just about. So my break even is $500. So anything that I make over $500 will be money going into my pocket. And this animal right here, if he sold for $500, I would be pissed. This animal probably gonna sell for like 1,000 something. This animal right here, Buddy right next to him, he's a pretty large frame, and he grows real good. I would think that he's gonna sell for good money too. Both of these animals probably about, but Buddy's probably about 750. This one's probably at about 800. And so that's two of the animals. Those are two animals that are going to market, and then the other one is that white heifer on the end over there, and she's going to market too this weekend. And so, you know, my break even is $500. And so as of right now, it looks like I'm gonna be making good money on these animals. My 1 year goal on this farm is if I can generate $100,000 on this farm at a 20% net profit, if I generate 100,000 gross and I do a 20,000 net profit, I'm gonna take the 20,000. So $20,000 a year, you know, $20,000 a year, that's enough money for me to take about a $500,000 loan from the bank. So if I walked into a bank with $20,000 a year, that would be enough money to cover the debt service on $500,000. So if I went into the bank and told them, hey, I need a loan for $500,000 on 30-year finance, they'd tell me it's going to be about $2,000 a month. And so about $20,000 a year would cover that amount of money. And so if I can make $20,000 a year here, I would take that money into the bank and I would leverage it for $500,000. And if I can leverage it for $500,000, I can go and I can buy myself 50, 75 acres, and I can just expand, and I can purchase more land with that leverage, which would also increase my cash flow opportunity. I could generate more cash flow from having that leverage. I can raise more cattle, long story short, or I can raise more hay, or I can grow more hay, or whatever, you know. And so, yep, everything's going good. You know, Everything's going good. These animals, like, you know, I got Princess right here. She got the cleft palate, and the animals like her, she's still perfectly fine. So you know, I'm gonna cut her for, I'm gonna process her for beef. And you know, and this animal, she won't be going to market, but I figured, you know, this animal, I'm gonna still include animals like this in my calculations, just because I'm gonna get several hundred pounds of beef off of her, and that's worth something, right? But after these animals go to market, these 3 animals go to market, I got a little low line heifer that I can't find anywhere, but she'll be going to market too. But after that, it'll be these red steers going to market. These red steers, they just need another month or 2, and they'll be going to market too. And then I got this one needing to go to market, and then I got most of my animals are about getting to market weight. You know, when they hit a size where I think their frame has stopped growing, where their frame is growing slowly, that's when I take them to market. And I keep them in good condition. I just keep them at a 6 year round. And you know, like these are 2 of the red steers. They look pretty good. Oh, this is Buddy, but this is a red steer right here. This is gonna be one of the animals going to market next month. And this is Slowpoke. Yeah, but you know, most of my, there's the low line heifer that's gonna be going to market this weekend too. But I just need to make $500 an animal to make my money back. And a large reason why my numbers are so good and why I'm making so much money is because, one, I set up an LLC for my farm. I wrote these animals off on my taxes. And then, you know, another huge reason why I was able to do this for so cheap was because, one, I borrowed money from the bank to purchase the animals, and then 2, I was very good at growing the grass. You know, the grass that I grew for these animals, and also 3, I also got very good weather. The weather was real good, and so by growing the grass for these animals, I was able to keep my costs very low. By borrowing money from the bank to purchase these animals, I didn't have to take any money from out of my pocket to purchase these animals. I also got a 0% interest loan from the bank. So when I purchased these animals, I was able to get a 0% interest loan. And so, you know, and filing an LLC and then writing these cattle off on my taxes got me all my income tax money back. And so, you know, at this point, I would say it's a job well done. I'm doing very well. My animals will be going to market this weekend. I will have a few animals starting to go to market this weekend. And when these animals start going to market, I will I'll have animals following suit pretty soon afterwards. Like this guy, he pretty much ready to go to market too, maybe just a month or 2 away. And so well, my big plan right now is, if I take this money, if I, you know, my plan is to generate $20,000 a year on this farm. And you know, $20,000 a year, that's just about enough money for me to go and get a $500,000 loan from the bank. And so, you know, I'm gonna buy myself more land, and if I need to, well, you know, me being here in Central Texas, it's a gold mine for cattle, you know, because there are cattle all around me. If I needed to, I could just drive 2 hours up north to Oklahoma. Or if I really needed to, I could drive 5 hours north to Missouri and to buy or sell cattle. I'm in a very good spot for raising cattle. You know, here in Central Texas, the weather here is pretty much good enough for me to grow grass. On 99 out of 100 years, I'll be able to grow grass here for 10 to 11 out of 12 months a year. And there ain't many places in the world like that. You know, if I go, you know, there are hardly any places on this earth that will, that the weather conditions are like that, where I'm able to grow grass, where I'm able to grow hay 11 out of 12 months a year for a majority, for, you know, 99 out of 100 years, I'm able to grow grass here. You know, hardly anyone is able to say that. And so, you know, I put myself in this, you know, well, here in Central Texas, I'm in a hot spot for cattle. There are cattle all around me. If I need to, which I don't really think I would ever need to, but if I ever felt like it, I could drive 2.5 hours north to Oklahoma. I could drive 5-6 hours north to Missouri, or I could drive 5-6 hours north to Kansas. Every once in a while I'll see somebody say, we got or there's a big sale happening in Joplin or in Missouri or in Beaver, Oklahoma. There's a big sale happening, but realistically, even here in Texas, if I just go an hour west to Fort Worth and go to a Superior Livestock Auction, I can buy $1 million worth of cattle with the click of a button. They sell $1 million worth of cattle as one lot. If I wanted to, I could buy 250 head of cattle with one click of a button. There are that many cattle around here, and so I'm literally surrounded by cattle. Here in Central Texas, one of the great things about it is, I almost had a hornet fly up into my shirt, is that here in Central Texas, it's a cattle gold mine. Because the weather conditions are so good for growing hay, which is kind of ironic right now because I've just kind of had this unusual drought for over the last month, and so I don't have squat growing out here. But and if I need to, I can just take a short drive up north for a few hours to go and buy and sell cattle at a bigger market if I needed to. And so, yep, it is what it is, But I've done phenomenally well, and and I'm doing real good. I'll be making my money on these animals here starting this weekend. And yep, I'm still taking a look. I'm still looking around for more land. But these cattle, I think one of the big things, you're not gonna learn this in school. Or you're not going to learn this reading the Bible, right? But, at a certain point, when I look at this now and, and taking a look back at everything that I've gone through, I think one of the things that spiritually led me this far, there were physical things on this planet that led me this far, like growing the grass and putting the cattle together. But one of the things that spiritually got me this far is that you got to learn to burn bridges, and you got to learn to kick people off your boat. And that's one thing that you won't learn reading the Bible, and you won't learn that going to school. But like these animals, right? Like, I remember like when I said, I was gonna make $20,000 a year, I had people come up to me. I had two people come up to me and tell me, what are you gonna do with $20,000? But these are the same people that when I ask them about money, they say the world is unfair unless they have $1 million. And it's like, well, I would rather be me than them, right? I've legitimately talked to people, and when they say that the world is unfair, they start saying that the world is unfair because they don't have a $500,000 or because they don't have $1 million. And to me, when I see people like that all the time, I ain't gonna lie. I work in the city, and I've seen people, man, and it's like, man, and I talk to them about money, and they go, oh man, the world is unfair. I've heard this dozens of times. It must have been at least a dozen times, and they'll go, oh man, the world is unfair because I don't have a $500,000. Or, oh man, the world is unfair because I don't have $1 million. And when someone comes up to me and they tell me that the world is unfair because they don't have a $500,000, what I hear in my head is that they're saying that the world is unfair because they can't make $2,000 a month. Because if they made $2,000 a month, they could take that money to the bank and go and get a $500,000 from the bank. And so, I just don't get it. And so, got to kick those people off the boat. This whole farm, this whole ship right here, it goes wherever I say it's gonna go. And if someone don't like it, they shouldn't be on my boat. I'll kick them off. I've kicked people off my boat hundreds of times. And it just is what it is. You know, and people who go, oh man, I didn't know, like I didn't know that you could go and take a loan from the bank for $2,000 a month. Well, if you had tried, you would have known. And so there is no good excuse. You know, it's like people who made fun of me my whole life, and now they want to say that I'm smart. And it's like, that's not how the world works, you know. What happened to 3, 4, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, you know? And what happened to 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Ain't nobody saying I was smart. I mean, it just is what it is, right? You got to work hard and you got to figure it out. And if it comes down to it, just start kicking people off the boat. Because I got stuff I need to do. At the end of the day, you know, my big goal is I need to make $500 an animal to break even, and anything that I make over that is money that goes into my pocket. And if I have money in my pocket, I can leverage that money for more land. But it is what it is, you know. You got, at a certain point, you just got to learn to turn. You just got to learn to don't turn the other cheek, you know. Go deaf to people's opinions. Stop caring about what people think, and kick them off the boat if you have to. But starting this weekend, you know, I'll be making myself some money. I just got to make $500 an animal to break even, and then everything after that is money in my pocket. My animals are looking good. But that's it from me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.